issues. Thank you so much and welcome.
Thank you guys for having me. Kunle, it's been a long time, man. How
Yeah.
you doing?
The last time I saw you was on Zoom too, when you were on this program.
Well, well, everything is zooming now. I hope we all survive
Yes.
the
Well, let's zoom into the conversation then, since you are already joining us on Zoom. Uh, the elections are just around the corner, like Unkoli said a few moments ago, and
yes.
the issue now is the campaigns itself for the
Yeah.
elections. How
Yeah.
is your organization reaching out to the people of Edo State? And what do you think are the chances of having a very good election in Edo State?
You know, elections basically is more a psychographic affair than any other thing. And our people, the great people of Edo State, are always prepared because we are a very, 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 very politically aware lot. And as a result of that, I think the Edo people, the mass majority of the people of our state, are ready to go to the polls to choose who should be their next executive governor come November 12th, 2024.
Okay,
We are
so
very ready.
you're ever ready. When you issued a statement on behalf of your candidate, the PDP candidate, Ighodalo, and you talked about the fact that the campaign should be issued based this time,
Mhm.
that your party is actually going to tell the people what you've got to offer, and you want others to follow suit. So what exactly do you have to offer for the people? And I'm asking this because the APC thinks that the PDP doesn't have a place anymore in Edo State because to them, your governor has not performed so well.
You see, the APC is a party that has been thrown into absolute circle of denials. This is a party that has taken Nigeria from the brink down into the abyss. This is a party that have created the greatest monumental impoverishment of the Nigerian nation. This is a party. Your socials, your Kakaki socials just finished now. And what was he talking about? The litany of suffering, impoverishment, dehumanization of the very essence of the Nigerian nation. And so nobody expects anything less from the APC. The APC is true to type, a party that has taken propaganda to the realm of high art. They live the lie, they create the lie, they live the lie, and the lie becomes a new reality for them. But Nigerians, through the paucity of our pay pockets, are beginning to see the APC for what they really are. So I don't want to even go into that. We decided to float that we want to run an issue-based campaign, a campaign where each of the individuals who are vying to the highest office in our land, Edo State, the very heartbeat of the Nigerian nation, should have the opportunity to tell our people, waiting we want do for now. Not going about having people who have been skewed in Bole Kaja democracy, in motor park touts, coming to the public space and spewing out lies. We are here today. You are in the media. The whole of the 2 weeks before now, Benin was agog because the governor of Edo State, Godwin Inogagase Obaseki, has changed the total landscape of politicking in our state. So those who are crying are people who want to continue to decimate our commonwealth. A labor leader just left your station prior to when you just before you signed off to come to me now,
He just zoomed off
talking
Zoom.
about people. Yeah, he just zoomed off Zoom before you came to me now. What are they screaming all over? 2 weeks ago, Nigeria was on total lockdown because all the other 35 states of the federation and the federal government can't pay the minimum wage. Edo State, a small state, a state that is just is paying 70,000, 30,000 more than the official former benchmark, and the federal government and the other 36 states, 35 states plus Abuja can't even agree that they will be able to pay 60,000. Why is that? Because the governor have been able to reshape the total governance ethos within the Edo nation. So when you hear them lie, please don't just take their lie with a pinch of salt. Take it with a bag of, in fact, a truller load of it. So we don't want to even talk about that. Is it our Edo best, the Edo basic education sector transformation, which the Lagos state government, Governor Sanwo-Olu went on air to say, I am copying Edo State, Edo best. There is no need to reinvent the wheel. So when men of little thoughts, when men who are mental Lilliputians, mental dwarfs, want to come and seize the reign of public office and take Edo State back to the years of the pharaohs, we say, let me use their APC man, Patrick Obaya, let me borrow one of his very funny language. We say cabodo rejectamenta to that. So this is clear. A few days ago, our
Please interpret
candidate,
that.
Asue,
Interpret that. That doesn't sound like English.
I don't know what it means. It's a caboto rejectamenta. So when I hear the rejectamenta, I'm sure it might be some form of quaint Latin phraseology to reject. We reject that totally.
All right,
So
Pedro, Don Pedro, let me ask you this, because you just talked about the increase in minimum wage. Fine, that has been applauded by many, but it's just a handful of Edolites that are civil servants, and many are asking what happens to those who do not even have employment. Edo State, for instance, is touted to be where you have more young men who are into the so-called Yahoo business, and you see even security agencies are pursuing them all about. It's also touted to be one of the states where you have more young women going, outside the country to seek for, maybe go into prostitution, so to speak. So if that is the case, would you say, there's a lot of chances for the PDP?
I want to help your memory, madam. I'm very sorry I have to say that. You see, our people are a proud bunch. We are a proud people. And prior to the coming of Governor Godwin Obaseki, maybe what you are saying now would have had water. Maybe you are living in yesterday. I want to take you back to the European Union. Just a few years ago, they ascertained and applauded the milestones being made by Godwin Obaseki in arresting the preponderance of, or let me use the word, irregular migration by our people. And that was not caused by him, but he has been able to stymie that. And I think right now, you will not find the same degree of irregular migration. You said you almost on public domain now call our women prostitutes. I would have asked you to apologize for that, but that is okay. So those STEMI, how will I put it, blanket generalizations have been changed by the present Edo State government. If you are on social media now, you can take Kakaki Social to now go back and see the trend on Twitter, whether it is the same way it was 10, 15 years ago. The answer is no. So I know that prior to the coming of Godwin Obaseki, maybe that was in the public space, but definitely not anymore. The NSAS that is touted all over Nigeria was actually as a result of the supposed Yahoo boys being killed in Ughelli, that was in Delta State. So there has been a seismic paradigm shift in terms of engagement of children, of the younger ones in this space. As we so speak, Edo has the governor has decided, have been able to turn our, you see, when kids are being able to use the laptops, their phones and stuff to change how you think about yourself, you say it's Yahoo, is understandable. So what the governor has done is to try as much as possible to turn Edo State into the ICT hub of this country. That is exactly what it is today. it is not, there is no gainsaying the fact that there has been a very systemic, very deliberate regrafting of our psychographics within the space of Nigeria. And the first beneficiary are the youth. Now, you issue here is issue-based campaign. What do we have to offer? What have we offered prior to now? Whether we like it or not, nobody is accusing Godwin Obaseki of stealing hordes of money. Nobody is accusing Godwin Obaseki that they are going to run after him as they are running after ex-APC governors like Yahaya Bello. They are screaming that Godwin is not taking care of those in the political space. He is not sharing our collective commonwealth among a few band of marauding political buccaneers. If that is his crime, is a crime that the upwardly mobile Edo people do welcome. Is a crime we hug, because as a result of those savings, Godwin has been able to raise our GDP. As a result of those savings, Godwin has been able to clear the entire backlog of almost 14 years of pensioners. As a result of those savings, Godwin is the only, those states is the only government within the Federal Republic of Nigeria that has already paid us 2 weeks ago the June salaries for all civil servants. And when you say a small part of those states is a civil servant state, check your this thing where we are a civil servant state. That is what they used to call us. But today the government and the governor has changed that perception and that very debilitating arithmetic. Now, on the other hand, I want to stick to the issue. I won't even allow you on Kakaki to deviate from the issue. What is the issue?
Don Pedro.
The issue is, yeah, sir.
Don Pedro,
I hear you.
I'd like you to tell us how, what proportion of the people of Edo State works for the government, what proportion of the working population of Edo State works for either the local government or the state government.
You are talking about the percentage of public service.
Yes,
and
because you are
of
saying now that Edo State is a civil service state, and when you say that,
wait, Kule. She said
Don Pedro, the network has been a bit funny, but I'd like you to complete that thought, and then let's get into the campaign promises of your candidate.
Yes, I said, thank you. Thank you very much. You see, Asue Ighodalo, first of all, the man who are we bringing forward, a man who has straddled the entire value chain of governance and business, a man who, until he declared to be to run for office of governor of Edo State, is the immediate past chairman of Dangote Flour Mills, immediate past chairman of Sterling Bank, former chairman of Nigerian Breweries, maybe one of the largest fast-moving consumer group producers on the continent. Maybe according to Forbes, one of the number one, number two law firms, commercial law firms on the African continent, with more than 100 lawyers, 17 partners. A man who, until very recently, was the chairman of the Nigerian Economic Summit Group. You see, so that is on the one hand. Now,
impressive CV.
So I just wanted to put that in the public.
Let's talk about the campaigns now. I'm looking at the website of the Asue Ighodalo. I'm looking at asueighodalo.com /promises. And the promise of that campaign organization is one, well-being of our people, growing our economy, good governance, and all of that.
We call it the prosperity agenda.
Good. So let's talk about that.
Yes. Asue has designed a pathway to prosperity for all. And the AI manifesto for Edo State. And they've talked about, the first plank is the well-being. That's ensuring the well-being and health and happiness of all Edo peoples. And the number two is the economic growth. He wants to leverage our competitive advantages to grow our economy and create wealth. You see, Edo sits in the very epicenter of Nigeria on a geographical level. You cannot traverse between the east and the west, between the south and the north, without passing a territory of Edo State. Then he looked at our environment. You get right now, almost people that are not even aware that 2 or 3 of the production of electricity in Nigeria is either at Iowo in Edo State or at Osiomo in Edo State. Now we sit on the natural junction of the Nigerian gas pipelines. Now growing sustainably, making sure that he's able to take care of challenges, erosion, flooding control, reforestation, green spaces, renewable energy. That is on our environment. That is the 3rd pillar. The 4th pillar, because it's on 5, is good governance. Being able to deliver quality public services while ensuring that there is accountability and transparency in the public space, which has been put forward and fostered by the present government, which is the only reason why political buccaneers are fighting Godwin Obaseki. And finally, security, law, and order. Now, when you ensure security, law, and order, it becomes the foundation of your prosperity, because you can only move the people so forward when you have a seemingly stable environment. Those are the pillars, the 5 planks upon which Asue Limens Ighodalo's pathway to prosperity for all Edo peoples is based. Those are the 5 planks that are, I won't call it, it's a queen pod, right? 1, 2, 3, now an aggregate of this will be used to push Edo forward, because he truly believes. In fact, anytime I remember his opening statement, I say, God bless the choice of Asue Ighodalo, because he understands that we are a people who, by the dint of, I want to quote him, say, by the dint of hard work, our forebears built one of Africa's greatest civilizations. A civilization that was already using street lamps before there were street lamps in Europe. That is a truism. A civilization that built a 175-kilometer moat, the Great Benin Moat. Now, that civilization, the works of the hands of our people provide, let me quote as well, provide a sufficient evidence of our advanced knowledge in engineering, organization, arts, culture, trade, and so forth. Is a proud heritage, a heritage that is profound. So what we are, or who we are a people of immense creativity and an indomitable will. So when I walk into a space, no matter how small Pedro's 5 foot 6.5 inches is, I feel like I'm a mental Gulliver. I occupy space and I assume every other person is a mental Lilliputian. That is what we are. Now, in this space, Asue believes that with the collective harnessing of the potentials of our people, we have more rivers than most places in Nigeria, green forestation. We are the center of the equatorial rainforest. We are the greatest cultivatable place for palm oil around the world, rubber. So you have a state that is prepared to be the industrial agricultural haven for this country, apart from the fact that we also sit on the largest inland gas belt reserve in this country. So we need someone who will be able to harness all our collective potentials and push them forward, as has been started by the Godwin Obaseki administration. And this is what it is. We don't want a situation whereby we are being, anytime I hear one of the opposition speak, I weep, because you cannot move a people forward unless you raise their brain power upward. It is not in this 21st century that I'll be having a candidate who stands in the public domain and does not know the difference between a museum and a zoo. Obaseki don't build museum, but we never see any animal inside that museum. That is the worst representation of our wretched of the earth. And some of us who might not have been at the beginning standing forward, we decided that, to use Franz Fanon, he said, when you sit on the fence, life will pass you by on both sides. Edo State has decided, in going forward in this country that is on its knees, we are raised on its knees. We truly believe that with the proper, how will I put it, the proper governance, Edo State will be the leader in taking Nigeria from its current doldrums back into a proper nation state instead of a failing one. And the ticket is balanced. A lawyer, not just a lawyer, a first-class one at that. Not just that, a graduate of the London School of Economics, a graduate of Nigeria's foremost university, University of Ibadan, a man who stands like a colossus within the business sector and the governance space, even though in the background, for one to be the chairman of the Nigerian Economic Summit Group, a man who, once again, when Nigeria was going through problems, he was a member of the Consent Professionals, which was an alliance of private sector professionals who spoke out against military dictatorship. And he was the group's representative for NADECO. So we already have someone who more or less straddles the value chain. And his deputy is one of Edo State's finest gentlemen, who has been in the corridors of government, understands the workings of government, has been a chief of staff to Oshimole, has been a commissioner in Edo State, and has been the longest serving secretary to the state government, SSG. So when you put the two together, Benin people say, now the people where sabi. So we want to give them the leadership, the future of our people, so that Pedro, I can go to sleep knowing that, oh, with Asue in charge and not some Syria buccaneer who is only thinking of how to fleece our people, who is even brave enough to come on air to say he's going to share our commonwealth to political leaders. Who does that? And I ask myself, now the day where bombing these people come from?
Okay, Don Pedro, now the people were sabi or quite key there. So what strategies have you mapped out in your campaign organization to ensure the buy-in of people into this, campaign agenda for your candidate? And I'm asking this because the APC is also not sleeping and wants to clinch that seat. And it says, it describes your candidate as not a homegrown boy, really. So let's look at how you intend to navigate, this campaign circle and clinch to that seat.
Let me tell your cameraman, say, I know the AIT they believe, may your carry camera enter ring road. If you see 20 people wear cap, 19 wear Asue Ighodalo cap. Unforced. If you see people carry sticker for motor, now Asue Ighodalo, and they say not be homeboy, Asue is knocking on every door, on every floor. He's hugging every face in every place. However, the APC that is talking is like feed the bottle. They use feed the bottle, feed the man everywhere they go. They are even scared of him talking, because what they usually find is a learning of serial misfiring. I not insult anybody for air. And who is the homegrown boy? Asue Ighodalo, who has been in the economic team of Oshomole for 8 years, who has been the chairman of Alawodao. Alawodao Summit is the economic summit of Edo State, which, if I translate in Yoruba, Ilosiwaju Edo, for the past 8 years. Or Monday, Okpebholo, who, when he's reading out his achievements, is talking about Plateau State and Jos. When he's reading out people he knows, he's talking about Dalong. The last time it was on this AIT, I heard one of his spokesmen say that he helped Israel to build satellite. I don't look at these people, I say, who do APC this one?
Don Pedro, can I ask you to hold on? Because
yes,
we don't have much time, and I want us to talk, because you are the one that is talking about issue-based campaigns. So let's look at your candidate's manifesto, and I want to pick the very first one, which is the well-being of all our people. And you talk about ensuring the well-being, health, and happiness of all people, and all Edo people, by making available hardship relief, good jobs, good roads, electricity, affordable health care, good education, portable water, and all of that. Now, given the fact that resources are usually limited, We're talking about a man whose first degree was in economics before he now went to the London School of Economics where he studied law. So he's an economist as well as a lawyer, and like you said, he's been around in, in the country for a while, straddling everywhere, according to you. So how do you how do you intend to convince the people of Edo State that within a space of 4 years, all of this will happen? Because there's a difference between concept and actualities. I want us to talk about that.
Yes, I see. First of all, the biggest problem most of us may have is that you don't usually have a conceptual framework, and you don't finally have what to hold people onto. You also said he's an economist. Now, as we are talking, Edo State has been an exemplar in terms of being able to walk the talk. Now, Asue is saying, I will just take it a notch further because we are building on what has been there. That is just the truth. I don't think that on the well-being of the people. I said you don't move a people forward if you don't raise their brain power upward. Now, the brain power of the Edo people is being raised to that level. In this year, for example, and the 2 years before now, Edo State has been first in the JSS across the nation, and at the same time, first or second in school certificate education across the nation. Now, which means we have the propensity to accommodate all this. Is already there. It's for him to be pushing up. Now, for someone who has a degree in law and one of Nigeria's foremost commercial lawyers, and also someone who has a degree in economics, then you know that he knows what he's talking about. We've been able to, in spite of the paucity of the Nigerian nation, in terms of finances, in terms of the fiscal responsibility of government, Edo State has become a beacon of hope. And that is what we are going to continue. So resources are limited. So you need a proper administrator who understands the scales of preference and the opportunity cost that will derive, who understand the basic economics of scale for him to be able to continue to do this and take us a notch further. And who do I now give the Edo State to when I know that there are so much economic challenges? He talked about potable water, food security, sanitation, housing. These are things that have been done right now, and he's going to improve on it. And these are things that has been handled excellently well with him in the economic advisory of the state so far. So he also understands that he has to leverage on our agriculture and agro-industrial sector. Don't forget, he was also a chairman of Okomu Oil Palm, which is also basically the largest oil palm producer in Nigeria, situated in Edo State. Mining-based products, leveraging I think I almost crammed the entire manifesto along with the Benin Enterprise Park. That was how engrossed and enthused I was by the entire thing he has put together. We can do this. The will must be there, and then there will be the way. But for the will and the way to meet, you must have requisite expertise that understands the end-to-end matrix. And who does that better? Asue Ighodalo. So when I put them on a scale, Asue tips the scale in monumental proportion. And I can go to bed and say, okay, Pedro, you still leave your children for this man. May we see how the next 4 years could be. You see, promises are necessary because dreams midwife reality. Now, he has also gone to the extent of tapping our great reserve of the creative sector. We are a very digitally aware, creative, and sports-loving people. In the old days of Ogbemudia, I will say, oh, Bende, whether you like them or not, now we carry first. On the digital sector, Godwin's Enterprise Park and the Edo Tech Park is redefining the entire digital ecosystem in Nigeria. Or is it the creative sector? We have changed comedy not into high art, but how will I put it? Now today, the Victor Uwaifo Creative Hub is churning out by the gross. Rock TV now shoots almost all their stuff in Edo State. That is the truth. We were the state of Okosu, Victor Uwaifo. We are also the state today of Charlie Poppy, Rema, Divine. That is what it is. So when you have a government who understands these end-to-end interactions, he is able to mold it so that you can deliver value for the mass majority of our people. So I know that the Edo people will not open their eyes, jump, enter water, because they say the stone that you see cannot blind you. We see the stone of the APC and we won't let it blind us. Sorry, I referred to them because this is a contest, but we know exactly what we want to do. We have, thank God you said you went to our candidate's website. And on Asuelime's website, we call him AI, artificial intelligence, Asue Ighodalo, the future. You know, in short, assured. So when you went there and you saw the things he wants to do, graphically represented, totally presented, packaged, so you can tomorrow, because the internet never lies.
Yeah, Don
At the
Pedro, Don
end of
Pedro,
Asue's, yeah, yes, sir.
I need
Yes, sir.
to interrupt you again. You're
Okay.
talking to us on TV now,
Yes.
but I'd like
Yes.
to know how this will be transmitted to the people in campaigns. My worry is this: I have covered electioneering campaigns since 1999 in Nigeria. I
Yeah,
have covered
I think I
elections.
did with you.
Yes,
Yes.
I have covered elections, not just in Nigeria, in several other countries in Africa.
Yes.
And
Yes.
one thing I find lacking in electioneering campaign in Nigeria is candidates breaking down what they want to do for the people. Okay, I promise you. Let me talk about one of the issues under well-being of all our people in your candidate's campaign manifesto. It's
Manifesto.
talking
Yes.
about good jobs. Good jobs
Yes.
sounds desirable, but
Yes.
how do you plan to create good jobs? That's one thing I find lacking in campaigns, mostly across the political landscape in Nigeria now. So, what I would like you to tell us is how your candidate will successfully break this down as you go from one community to the other in Edo State, trying to convince the people to vote for him.
So far, what we've done, we have actually localized our manifesto. Our manifesto is coming out. I don't want to, Madam once said that I should, what strategies? So I jump come out, make them not go copy our strategy. That is just the truth. But we have broken the entire manifesto. You see, the one you even have, which is I'm sure is the 29-page one, is the abridged manifesto, is the abridged one. There is a huge, massive, whatever on how this will be achieved. Number two, we have localized our manifesto by making sure they are in audio form in every of our major dialects within Edo State. And this has been taken from street to street. Like I told you, Asue will knock on every door on every floor. We have also tried as much as possible to animate them, for them to be able to see what is going down now and how that will be catapulted when it gets into office. As we so speak, Edo State, outside of maybe Lagos, because of the higher cost of living, Edo State actually has the highest PPP, the purchasing power parity, in terms of what your naira can purchase for you and your take-home pay. In Edo State, our take-home pay takes us home. That is why our minimum wage, when we say minimum wage, somebody on level 01 receives a minimum of 40,000, 30,000 above every other state in this country. How are we doing it? So when you say good job, I used to be a managing director in dark communications. I know what it is to say minimum wage is 70. I know what it is not to pay salaries at the end of the month. It's a hypertensive thing. So when you see a government, of which that's where Ighodalo is part of, already paying June salary on the 17th of June, so that those of our Muslim brothers can have money to do a salah. So the workers now owe the government. So it's almost like reverse osmosis. So I know that it is the seriousness of purpose The fact that you have some persons who are committed to making sure it is not business as usual. That is what Godwin is. So those who don't like him are those who don't mean well for our people and our collective commonwealth. So that is what we are. So I know with the localization of the Asue, as we are speaking now, he's in Europe, traversing from every major center where, because the Edo diaspora is a huge economic driver within our space. We are the only people where Western Union get offices that they open on Saturdays and Sundays. So we know the power of our Edo diaspora. When he comes back, we are hitting the streets again. He's been walking the talk everywhere you go. I don't want to advertise a mobile service. Asue Ighodalo is everywhere you go. And we talk the talk in our native languages. As I did here, so now even they speak Pidgin, because that is one language that all of us in Edo State, now we former. So we know how to take this to everywhere. And things that won't work, if you look at it, be frank with yourself, you've seen a lot of manifestos in Nigeria. This one is as basic and as rudimentary and as achievable as humanly permissible. That is where it's a little different, because all the pillars, all the milestones, all the achievables, all the KPIs, all the key performance indices are already pegged and in place. And I know inside of me, and I believe that with the sincerity of purpose that Asue Ighodalo has been exhibiting within the Edo's public space, the only way to go is forward. And our Edo people will not be mumu, will not be anybody mumu, not be with the go take
All
rub
right,
this
Don
crown.
Pedro, let me come in here, really. Okay, talking about the well-being of the people as one of your, campaign promises, that would also entail, even though you said your salary can take people home now, but that will also entail like things like having shelter over people's head, like infrastructure in terms of movement, road-wise, and all that. Get us through what your manifesto or your agenda or your campaign promises say about this. And I'm asking this because we've seen people make campaign promises in the past. Even today in Nigeria, several governors also made campaign promises before they got into office, even at the federal level. And then at the end of the day, we don't see these things put on paper materialize and impact the lives of the people. And this makes people wonder whether or not writing it is easy, but implementation has often been difficult.
Yeah, I agree with you, and it is a very sad tale indeed. So what Aswe's manifesto tried to address in this regard, like I told you, I don't cram them from my head.
Please
He
try to be
said
quick, Don
clearly,
Pedro.
yes, yeah, what that has to do is that he's going to support the Edo State Development and Property Corporation to provide rent-to-own housing schemes. It's not been done before. To enable more people to own their homes in different parts of the state, particularly public servants, low-income earners, and informal sector workers. It's almost like a mortgage scheme based on your earning capacity. So it's rent to own. That is, you go start as you say you be tenant. As you pay your rent, they go, the thing they become your own. So you're not going to fear when landlord go come, because the landlord na the government. Number two, the landlord also, even if you have private persons going in there, the government already become the buffer, the guarantor. You be like loan. Then he said we also focus on affordable housing development by attracting manufacturers of building materials. You see, these things are key. In Edo State, for example, now on the bypass, we already have roofing sheets are not made from outside Edo State. They are made in Edo State. The ties are not made from outside Edo State. They are made in Edo State. Dangote cement and Boa cement don't come from outside Edo State. They are in Edo State. So the basic planks of building, where the cost-benefit analysis can be derived from, particularly when the government steps in as the negotiator of volume discount,